Hello and welcome to another Pokemon Showdown live battle. I'm not Orangejuice and we'll be going for a couple UU battles starting with one with Hoenn 3. Scariest thing on this team, the Dusclops, but that's just because it's red. In all seriousness, the Weavile's pretty scary. It's fast and ninja-esque, I guess. And I think I want to lead with Raikou, but I'm not sure how much of a viable thing that's going to be. But I don't care, I'm just going to lead off with my Raikou. And in he comes with the Claydol, and that tells me a couple things. First, he's going to try to set up Stealth Rocks. Second, Claydol's going to be one annoying bitch. I'm going to go for either the Shadow Ball or the Hidden Power. I think I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball because it has more base power, right? Let's see how much damage that does if he indeed does decide to stay in. It does 42%, so it's not that bad, but it's not that good either. I'm just gonna go for one more Shadow Ball and see how much that does. It just does the same, because why wouldn't it? And he goes for the Light Screen, and now I'm expecting him to switch into something, possibly the Porygon. And I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm kind of... It's not good to make predictions in the beginning of the match, so I'm just gonna keep going for the Shadow Ball. Pretend I have a choice something. And, well, the Porygon comes in and it gets the attack boost from the download, which isn't that much of a big deal because Porygon 2s are usually, if offensive, they're specially based, so... Excuse me. Alright, now that I've finished talking with my alien friends, I will proceed to switch into perhaps my Amoonguss, because my Amoonguss won't mind a Porygon 2 that much. In comes the Tri-Attack, it doesn't do that much, and it doesn't cause any status effects either, so I'm pretty good right now. And normally I would go for the Spore, but wouldn't he switch into the Roserade predicting that? And actually, either way it wouldn't matter because nothing's gonna happen, whatever. In comes the Ice Beam. It does a decent amount, but it's not going to kill me, and as long as Amoonguss is not dead, I can just switch out for some sweet little regenerator action and I'll be pretty fine. I think I'm going to go into my Mew, or my Moo rather, and from here on I'm just gonna call it a Moo because I think it's cuter. I'm going to switch into my Moo, and I'm going to try to set up Swords Dances, and I'm just going to hope that the Porygon 2 doesn't wake up or switch out. And I go into my Moo, and Porygon 2 is still asleep, so that's good. And actually I'm not sure if I should go for the Swords Dance, because if the Weavile decides to come in, then I wouldn't be at exactly the best of positions, so... does it look like I give a fuck? Because I just said a swear word and that makes me uncomfortable. I'm just gonna go for a Sword Stance as he goes into his Flygon. And that tells me that the Flygon probably has a Scarf and is going to proceed to U-turn the crap out of me because it's super effective. And I'm just gonna go for Drain Punch because I'm going to predict either the Claydol or the Weavile to come in right after this. And if not, I am going to be in a pretty terrible position. Actually, I'm just gonna... whatever. I'm just gonna go for the Drain Punch. And I get a critical hit, and I actually destroy the Flygon, which tells me that it wasn't Scarf, and... well, it tells me that my Moo is pretty strong as hell. In comes the Dusclops, and I'm pretty scared of the Will-O-Wisp, but I have the Synchronize, so... I'm not actually sure how Synchronize works. Is that how it works? I'm just gonna go for the Zen Headbutt, see how much that does. It does 69%, so that's good enough for me, to be honest. The Synchronize burns his Dusclops, and I'm still okay. I'm still in a okay position. I could go for another Sword Stance, but I'm afraid that the Dusclops might go for the Pain Split, so I'm just gonna go for another Zen Headbutt and get rid of the Dusclops. And things are looking pretty good for me. I still have all my 6 Pokemon while he has 4. So 6 is greater than 4, and you should probably know that if you've done any kind of math course in school or something like that. I'm gonna go for the Drain Punch as the Weavile goes for Pursuit. Ha! Predicted! Except it has a Choppleberry, and the Drain Punch isn't going to do as much. On the bright side, it did 69% damage again, so that's a lot of 69s in one match. Maybe we're going to have one more 69 before the match is over. Let's go for another Drain Punch, and the Night Slash is actually going to kill me, so there goes my hope of doing a 6-0, but I wasn't expecting that much. No, I think I might go into Heracross and just start spamming close combat. Nothing in this team can take a close combat. The Claydol's at low health, and the Roserade is more specially defensive than defensive, so everything should be going down in a reasonable fashion. I'm going to go for a close combat, and once this Moxie starts going, well, you're not going to survive. First victim is going to be the Weavile, who decides to die and give Heracross a nice Moxie boost. And the next victim is going to be, I'm thinking the Roserade, because it's the most likely to live in this position. And no, he actually decides to bring in the Claydol, and that's a very bad decision, because now I'm going to get another Moxie boost, and your Roserade won't be able to survive ×2 attack Heracross close combat. Or so I think. And let's test it out. I'm gonna go for a close combat, and despite it being a resisted hit, the Roserade is still going to go down. I get yet another Moxie boost, and what are the odds that a Sleeping Porygon 2 will survive this? I'm pretty sure somewhere between -1 million and 0, so I'm just gonna go for a close combat. The Porygon 2 is dead, and I have defeated him. And that's going to be GG. Let us look for another UU match, I suppose. And nope, that's not the team I want. I want this one. Let's see, we're going to find another match, and it's apparently not appearing because nobody plays UU. That's not entirely true, but I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. Maybe I should have cut the audio off a while ago when I still had the chance, but I'm still waiting. Come on. Hello? How hard is it to find one UU match? And there we go. We found a match, and interesting things in his team. One, the Crocodile, probably Scarf. Ferroseed, Eviolite, obviously, probably. Zapdos, you don't see those around that much. And yeah, pretty cool. I'm going to lead off with my Raikou as usual, and he's going to lead off with his Ferroseed, so I can just Volt Switch into something that can utterly destroy that Ferroseed. And actually, if I go into Victini right now, then I can just go for the V-Create, and something's going to die unless he brings in the Blastoise. In which case, I might be at a slightly worse position. But I can think about that later. I think... I'm not sure if I want to go into Victini, but I will, because if Ferroseed went for the Stealth Rocks, then I can evade at least some damage at this point by going into Victini. In comes the Stealth Rocks, and I'm just going to go for the V-Create. The Blastoise is probably coming in, but I don't care. V-Create should still do some damage, you know. I go for the V-Create, and it does 36%, and I think that's decent enough. In a way, not really. I'm going to now go into my Amoonguss, because Amoonguss is a grass type, and if you're going to go for Scalds and shit, then Amoonguss is the best thing to go. Not to mention Amoonguss is a shroom, so you're gonna be getting pretty high in the process, and that's always good. Also, has anyone noticed that Victini is the only Pokemon to have wings on its butt? I thought that was pretty hilarious. And in comes the Scald, and it doesn't burn me, thank goodness. And do I want to go for a Spore? I'm not sure if I want to go for a Spore, but I'm going to go for a Spore because Spore is a very nice move. In comes the Ferroseed, and the Ferroseed is now asleep. And I could switch into something else right now, but he might be expecting that. Should I go into my Raikou, or should I go back into my Victini? I'm going to go back into my Victini because I don't know if he's going to switch or not. If he is, then screw me. I go into my Victini, my little butt wing guy, And in comes the Zapdos, and that tells me that I don't like this situation. I'm just gonna go for a V-Create, see how much it does to this Zapdos if he decides to not switch out. And if he does go back into Blastoise, then it's going to take another 36% damage, and that damage is going to rack up pretty quick. On a similar note, Stealth Rock damage on my Victini is also going to rack up pretty fast, so I have to watch out for that. And, well, we're still waiting here for the Zapdos to make a move. Not as fast as it looks, is it? How fast is Zapdos anyway? Is it 115 base speed, or is it 100 or something like that? I was pretty sure it was probably faster, but whatever. I go for the V-Create, the Zapdos is dead, and now obviously the Blastoise is going to be coming in because, yeah. Or maybe the Crocodile, since I'm slower now, but at this point he doesn't know whether I have a Scarf or a Band, so I don't know. In comes the Mienshao actually, so I'm just gonna go into my Flygar to take the U-turn or the Fake Out, and actually goes for the U-turn, so now the Blastoise is definitely coming in, right? Unless the Mew is specially based. So if the Mew comes in, we'll be getting a bit more nutritional information. In comes the Mew actually, so that tells me a lot. I'm just gonna go for the U-turn as the Mew possibly goes for Ice Beam. I mean, or did it come in to set up on me? It goes for the Substitute, so it's not that bad. Except it is bad because U-turn wasn't enough to break the Substitute, so that is pretty bad. Pretty bad. I'm going to go into my Raikou, and I'm thinking I could just spam Thunderbolt, and yeah, why not? And I go for the Thunderbolt, break the Sob, and in comes the Toxic. Now here, he's probably going to bring in the Crocodile, right? Because it's a ground type, etc, etc. So I'm actually going to make quite a risky prediction and go for the Hidden Power Ice. And actually the Mew goes for Protect, so now it's been revealed that I'm not choiced in any way. And that is pretty bad for me. I'm just gonna go for the Volt Switch because I'm tired of this move. My move is better than your move. 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 Move, 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 and actually, hold on a sec, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back from stuff, and now I'm going to switch into something to perhaps get rid of this move. And since it has Toxic and Protect, I'm assuming it also has Roost, and I'm assuming it also went for said Roost just a while ago. So I'm going to go into my Heracross and start spamming Mega Horns. As long as he didn't go for the Psychic type attack move, I should be fine. Except I forgot about Substitute, so I'm apparently the biggest stupid idiot ever. And I'm just gonna go for a Mega Horn, just break the sub. As he probably goes for Toxic, I'm assuming. And yeah, let's see. Alright. Hello. It's not that hard to make a decision when you're behind the sub. You're probably going to go for Toxic. Yes, you did indeed go for the Toxic. And I'm in a very, very bad position because you're going to go for Protect. And I'm just gonna have to stand here taking stupid poison damage because you just fed me Cyanide. And Cyanide, and I mean, it smells like almonds and everything, and I like almonds, but Cyanide, not cool, bro. I'm just gonna go for the Mega Horn, and it's going to hurt something, perhaps the Mienshao. If the Mienshao decides to come in, then it's not gonna take that much damage, and it does have the regenerator, so it can just U-turn out, so that's what I would do if I were him. But obviously he is not me, so we'll just see where this goes. And I know this has been pointed out a couple times, but Mew's black and white sprite looks like its tail is being shoved up its ass constantly, so just pointing that out. You'll never see Mew the same way again, but hey, Mew was the original Pokemon, so in the beginning there was only Mew. He was pretty lonely and he had to find a way to please itself, right? Yeah, just I'm not sure why I'm even saying that. In comes the Ferroseed, and the Mega Horn lands a crit, and it's actually going to kill the Ferroseed because Heracross is a monster. On a similar note, the Toxic's wearing out the Heracross pretty quick, so if I were him, I would go into the Mew and I would just go spam Protects until I die, because sooner or later this Heracross is going to die. Instead, he's going to bring in the Mienshao, and I don't see the reason for why I should switch out right now. I'm just gonna go for the Mega Horn, do as much damage as possible. And he goes for the Fake Out, and sadly that is going to be the end of my Heracross, because my Heracross is stupid, among other things. Now I'll just go into my own Moo. Alright, and I think I'm going to go for the Sword Stance. None of his Pokemon were scarfed, so I'm assuming the Crocodile has to be scarfed, right? It's the perfect scarf guy, thing, dude, thing. So, as much as I would love to go for Sword Stance, I think I'm going to have to go for the Drain Punch. Yep, I'm going to do that. In comes the U-turn, does a crap ton of damage to my Mew. And assuming he's going to switch into that. No, he's not even going to switch into the Crocodile. What's wrong with you, dude? Alright. Now I'm just gonna set up my Sword Stance because I don't care anymore. If my Mew dies, my Mew dies. And again, don't be staring at Mew's sprite too long because it looks a bit wrong. What are you doing with your tail, Mew? Don't stop doing that. That's not good for you. Well, maybe it is. It'll maybe stop you from getting prostate cancer, but I don't know. I'm just gonna go for Zen Headbutt at this point, and it's going to do a decent amount. Blastoise is going to roar me out into my Gligar, so that was the worst possible thing that could have happened to me. However, I'm just going to set up Stealth Rocks as my Gligar goes down. If Blastoise goes first, my Gligar is going down anyway, but I don't care about my Gligar. It's not going to be doing that much in this game, except maybe counter that Mienshao, in which case maybe I should preserve it and go into my Amoonguss, but I don't care at this point anymore. I'm just too lazy. I'm just gonna go for the Stealth Rocks. I was faster anyway, and the Scald doesn't even kill me. It gives me a burn, but I can get rid of that later. I'm just gonna go for the U-turn, and I can save the Gligar for Death Fodder if it's going to be necessary later on. And I can do like 10% more damage to the Blastoise while I'm at it. Nope, 5%. That's a lot less than I thought. But now I'm just gonna go into my Amoonguss and completely wall this Blastoise as it goes for Scald. It's probably gonna burn me again, right? Yeah, it's gonna burn my Amoonguss, and that's pretty stupid, if you ask me. Now I could go for a Giga Drain. Are any of his Pokemon sleeping? Nope, none of them is sleeping, so I'm just gonna go for a Spore and put something to sleep. Hopefully his Crocodile, because that Crocodile is sort of bugging me. It's just there. Anyway, I go for the Spore. The Mew is asleep, and now I think I can just go for a couple Giga Drains to kill the Mew. And yeah, things should be pretty good here. The Mew is sleeping. I go for Giga Drain. Does less than what I had hoped to do, so that's a bit unfortunate. Maybe I should switch out right now while I have the chance. Perhaps to my Raikou. I'm going to do that because I don't want anything happening to my little Amoonguss. Now I could go for the Thunderbolt or the Shadow Ball, and I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball because why would I do that? I'm just gonna go for Thunderbolt. Yeah, get rid of the Mew, except I don't because Mew is bulky. But Mew is still asleep because apparently that thing it's been doing with its tail, it's been spending too much energy. It's gotta sleep while it can, right? The life of students and stuff, I don't know. I'm gonna go for another Thunderbolt, just knock out the Mew while I can. And Toxic's getting pretty serious with my Raikou. The cyanide is going through all his body, slowly shutting down his nervous system. And before it goes down, it tries to go for one last hidden power, but it can't because the Crocodile is indeed scarfed. So it went for an Earthquake, so I pretty much have to switch into my Amoonguss, which is really bad at this point because I'm not sure what's going to happen. I have to put it to sleep. Go to sleep, man. And I think the Earthquake could kill me, especially after that Moxie boost, so I don't know, it's pretty scary at this point. Actually, he decides to switch out into the Mian Chow, so hindsight, I should have probably gone for the Stun Spore, but obviously that was not the most viable option in that point in time. So I'm going to go in. I'm just gonna go for Giga Drain, see how much that does, but no, actually I'm just gonna go into my Mew and try to get rid of the Mian Chow, because that thing's annoying. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for the Zen Headbutt, see how much it does, hope the Mian Chow doesn't wake up, which it doesn't. He goes into his Blastoise instead and takes the Zen Headbutt like a boss. Not really like a boss, but now I can go for the Drain Punch and get some HP back, as the Crocodile will inevitably come in and simply tear me a new asshole. Well, the Blastoise is dead at least, and that's pretty cool. And if the Crocodile decides to come in, this is the right moment to go into my Gligar, and it's going to die to Stealth Rocks, and I think that ensures that he doesn't get a Moxie Boost because he himself didn't kill anything. Yep, sounds like a great idea. I will now go back into my Amoonguss, or perhaps should I go into my Victini, but Victini's slower and the crunch is definitely going to kill it, so I'm in a really bad position here. Any misprediction in any way is going to simply destroy me. So I'm just gonna go for a Giga Drain, and in comes the Mian Chow, and that's pretty annoying, really. But 3 Giga Drains should be able to kill this Mian Chow, so I'm just gonna keep going for the Giga Drain, and 1 more should do it. The question is the Mian Chow going to wake up this turn? And I hope the answer is no, because yep, the Mian Chow's not going to wake up. Thank you, the Hacks Lord. Thank the Hacks Lords. And now the last thing he has is the Crocodile, which honestly could still sweep my team with the right anything. I'm going to put it to sleep as soon as possible. The Earthquake won't quite be able to kill me, so I put it to sleep. I'm going to go for the Giga Drain, and that does enough damage such that it ensures my survival, sort of. I have enough HP to live an Earthquake if he wakes up this turn, and I can just safely go for a Giga Drain to destroy what's left of that Crocodile. So yeah, bad guys never win. Get it? Cause Crocodile's a crook. Haha. Okay, so that's going to be it for today, or at least for this battle. Good game. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, a comment, and it would be really nice of you to subscribe, but you don't have to do that, just subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.